What will he find out there, Doctor?
His destiny. This whole thing is insane. Take your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape!
Hey guys, we're back again. This is the 5th and final movie of the original 5 Planet of the Apes movies. And I can go ahead and tell you right now, this episode is not going to have a whole lot of graphics. I just spent an hour scouring the internet looking for clips, sound bites, anything on this movie. And there is nothing. Like, I can find the whole movie and I can find the trailers and stuff, but I can't find any clips. And that is a testament to how much this movie is hated. This movie is not well liked at all. And honestly, rightfully so. It is not good. But this is Battle for the Planet of the Apes, 1973. Hour and 36 minutes of just what the F. Directed by J. Lee Thompson, who directed Conquest, which is a great movie, but this one, not so much. The writer, this is so convoluted, this writer thing, it's so convoluted. So Paul Dinn was, he wrote the last 4. He didn't write the first one, but he wrote all the subsequent ones. Got really sick during the making of this. He wrote the story. Got really sick during the making of this, and then they brought in John and Joyce Corrington, who wrote Omega Man, which was the Charlton Heston Last Man on Earth movie, which, was remade starring Will Smith as I Am Legend. Because the original story was called I Am Legend, and they changed the name to Omega Man, but John and Joyce Corrington wrote it. They did great, so they're like, hey, come in and write this movie. And they wrote the movie, and then Paul Dinn got better, came in and rewrote 90% of it. And you can find John and Joyce Corrington's screenplay online, and I did, and I read it, and it's not much better. It's not much worse, but it's, I was like, well, it seems like they've never seen a Planet of the Apes movie before, and then I looked it up, and it turns out that neither of them had seen a Planet of the Apes movie before. They just wrote it. Good job, dude. So, yeah, Paul Dinn came in and rewrote it, but when you open up the movie, it actually says story by Paul Dinn, and then it says written by John and Joyce Corrington. I guess they just wanted the name. I don't know. But, yeah, so this is going to be the only graphics you get right here. The rest is just going to be me doing this, and I apologize, but I couldn't find anything. So your cast is Caesar. Roddy McDowall is back as Caesar. Roddy McDowall is super awesome. As normal, he's great in this movie. He doesn't have like a huge amount of speaking parts. Like he does have pretty much the most speaking parts, but this movie is so weird that it doesn't matter. His wife, Lisa, played by Natalie Trundy, who was Lisa in the last one. She was the doctor in the one previous, and she was the telepath in the one previous. So she has played 3 different roles here. Lisa has now acquired the absolute power of speech. Like, she can speak perfectly well. This movie takes place, and it's weird because it's like, this movie either takes place 21 years or 18 years. They say 3 different numbers in this movie. They talk about the war ending 12 years ago. They talk about the arms person talks about living in the arms building for 21 years, and then Caesar talks about something happening 18 years ago. So this movie takes place roughly 2018, but Yeah, it's so weird. Like, I don't know. But anyway, we have McDonald by Austin. It's played by Austin Stoker. This is not McDonald from the last movie. McDonald from the last movie, the guy who played him, it was like, nah, I ain't doing this movie. I'm out. So they changed it to his younger brother. Yeah, apparently he read the script and was like, nah, I'm good. The antagonists here are Aldo, played by Claude Atkins. Aldo is a gorilla that just wants power, and this shows the gorillas here. And then we have the returning of Culp, played by Severin Darden. Culp was the sociopath that liked to torture animals in the last one. Then now he has a scar on his face because apparently he survived a nuclear blast, and he's radioactive or some convoluted weirdness. Now the governor was supposed to come back for this, but the governor read the script and was like, "No, I'm good. You go ahead. You do this without me." Because at the end of the theatrical version, the governor survives. The one I watched, the governor was murdered, but in theatrical, he survived, and he was supposed to come back, and it was supposed to be him and Culp, but that didn't work out. He was like, "No, I ain't doing this. I ain't being a part of this movie. This movie's terrible." So he didn't do it, and Culp got a upgrade to main villain here, and it was he's a villain, I guess. Kind of weird, but there is one thing that is kind of amazing about this movie. Is given as bad as it is, this movie apparently, by I mean, it hasn't been no one has actually been able to absolutely prove this, but it is said that this movie inspired Argo. If you don't know what Argo is, there is a movie about it called Argo that starred Ben Affleck. He directed it as well, where some people were taken prisoner in Iraq or Afghanistan, something like that, one of them, and Ben Affleck leads a troop of people to go rescue them. They go in pretending they're filming a movie, and they actually pick up the hostages and pretend that they are a part of the film crew so they can escape. And apparently this movie inspired that. And you can actually, if you watch Argo with Ben Affleck, if you watch that movie, there's a scene where they're showing a scene of Battle for the Planet of the Apes on a TV, and that's where they get the inspiration. So that's kind of a cool story, that this may have contributed to the someone getting saved from Afghanistan or something. That's cool, but still, this movie's so bad. And here's a little tidbit about all of Planet of the Apes, since I don't have any really good facts for this movie. Every single one of the Planet of the Apes, all 5, debuted at number 1 in the box office. Every one of them, and every one of them made a ton of money. And here's another thing, is almost subsequently, from the first all the way to the last, had less and less budget. Almost every single one of them. I think Conquest jumped up over Escape a little bit, but Planet of the Apes had the biggest budget. Battle for the Planet of the Apes, or Beneath the Planet of the Apes, had half that budget, and then Escape had a quarter taken away, and then they got the quarter back for Conquest, and then Battle for the Planet of the Apes had the least. It had barely a budget. I think it had a budget of $1.4 million. That's it. That's all they gave them. That's why a lot of the apes look like crap in this movie. And there's several other pieces that are okay. But basically, you open up with they show the end of Escape from Planet of the Apes, and then a recap of Conquest, and it takes up a total of 10 minutes. It takes a long time, because you have a lawgiver from 600 years after this movie takes place. He's the lawgiver, and he is telling the story of Caesar and everything. Like, yes, yay, Caesar did this, blah, blah, blah. And he recaps escape and conquest. And now we're into battle, and apes and humans are living together, not in harmony, because the gorillas do not like this. They want to put all the humans in a corral. Caesar, not a big fan of humans, but he lives with them anyway. We do find out that no is a bad word. You are not there's a line that says gorilla or apes are allowed to say no to man, but man is not allowed to say no to apes. And it's like, cool. I knew of a daycare once. I had a friend that worked for a daycare, and they were not allowed to say the word no to the kids. And I'm like, this is stupid. Why can't you say the word no? And they're like, because it's too negative. I'm like, so if a child is doing something wrong, negative, don't do that. Like, you can't say no. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, and this reminded me of that. And this is dumb. He almost gets killed because he tells a gorilla no. Caesar's son, they're teaching the apes how to write. The humans are teaching the apes how to write, and the first thing they're writing is "Ape shall not kill ape." And Caesar's son writes, "Ape shall not kill Abe." Abe is the name of the teacher, so he wrote a really sweet sentiment to the teacher, and the teacher's like, thanks, man, that means a lot. And it really did. You could tell it meant a lot to him. And he puts it in his book, and one of the gorillas can't write. He gets upset. He takes the "Ape shall not kill Abe" and rips it up, and the teacher's like, no. And it's like, it wasn't like telling him no, it was like, please don't do that. And that basically sets the whole movie off, because the gorillas get all angry and they get all aggro and start running around like a bunch of gorillas. They are gorillas. But, yeah, so no is a bad word. And I noticed something, that they're wearing the clothes from the first one, the green drapes with the leather square in the middle. They're wearing that, and the chimpanzees are wearing green, and the gorillas are wearing maroon. It's just like the first one. And I'm like, so in 18 years, they have evolved to that clothing already, and they can all talk. They can all reason. They can all logistically do anything. And I'm like, 18 years. It took 18 years for all of these apes to evolve like this. I'm like, there right there is an issue. Like, that it would take a little longer than 18 years for them to acquire speech. Whatever. Caesar's son's name is Cornelius, by the way. He named his son after his father. And you're thinking through the whole movie, oh, it's Cornelius, so he's going to grow up to be Cornelius. This thing takes place in 2018, so Cornelius in the first one would have had to have been like 1,000 years old. Over 1,000 years old. I was like, no, it's not the same guy. But we do find out that a bomb, in this 18 years, the humans have used atomic bombs to wipe out everything. It's like, so if we can't have the Earth, no one can. And they blow up everything. And they're like, well, we need to go back to the ruins, because he was like, McDonald's like, you know that the path you're on, the world is going to end in 3055. Because you're going to blow it up. And Caesar's just like, no, that won't happen. We're apes. We don't kill each other. That would never happen. And he was like, what if I told you that, what if you heard it from your own mother and father? And he's like, my mother and father are dead. And he's like, well, we can go to the ruined city, and there's some videotapes, some cool videotapes, your mom and dad talking, there's some stuff that we kind of recorded them, they were talking to us, and we have this court thing. There's also one where they're talking about killing you. We can go do that. That'd be pretty cool, right? Me and you traipsing through the desert. That's, like buddies. I'm gonna make a buddy comedy. But they do anyway. They actually do end up going to find these tapes of Cornelius and Zira, and they go to basically, it's the building that was in Conquest, where all the apes worked, and the governor worked, and everything, where all the apes were tortured. And they go into this place, and they find the archives, and they're looking for these tapes. and they're being watched by Culp, and Culp is like, "Oh, that's Caesar, and that's McDonald. He's the brother of the guy that used to work for the governor. I don't think I know the orangutan." Because they had an orangutan with them. I thought it was funny. "I don't think I know the orangutan." And he's like, "Go kill him." He's like, "You know that if you do this, you're going to be breaking 12 years of peace." And Culp says, "Yeah, it has been a little boring, hasn't it?" It's like, this dude is such a sociopath. But they go in there, they're watching their movies, and it's weird because it's like, it's audio, but it's a picture of Zira, and the picture is whenever she was drunk and confessing, not the part where she was drugged, the part where she was drunk and she was confessing. Is a picture of that, and I'm like, I don't remember anyone taking a picture of that, but okay. And the Cornelius one is the one of him in court, which makes sense. But when Cornelius comes on the screen, like Caesar has this cute moment. I mean, he's looking at himself because it's Roddy McDowall, both of them. Roddy McDowall on the screen, Roddy McDowall here, and he's like hopping up and down. He goes, "That's my father." Like, adorable, but super corny, dude. Like, this is not a good movie. And then, like I said, dude, I have no video of this. I have no pictures. I have nothing. I even tried to look for pictures of Battle for the Planet of the Apes and couldn't even find them. The Cornelius picture I showed at the beginning with Roddy McDowall and Cornelius, that's from Conquest. The Natalie Trundy one, that's from Conquest. Like, I couldn't even find. I bet the Culp picture I found and the McDonald's picture I found were from like Wikipedia. It's like there's nothing on this movie. It's almost like this movie doesn't even exist. And it's like it's a huge movie from a major franchise. But I can't find any movies, and it would have been great to have a clip of him saying "That's my father," because it was a cute moment. But they're walking away, and he's like, "So how could this happen? How does this time travel thing happen?" And the orangutan explains time travel the exact same way the dude did in Escape. The one where I was like, what the hell is he talking about? How he's like, well, time is kind of like a highway, and it's full of infinite lanes, off going from the past to the future, and if you change lanes, you can change your future. And it's like, he explains it the exact same way, and it still doesn't make any sense, but whatever. There's a lot of moments where he's like, the scientist is talking, and Cornelius is like, can you please say that in a normal way? Like, it's a thing in this movie. It's an ongoing thing. But so they get it, and they get some pew pews. Some people are like, the humans are trying to kill them, and they get away. They actually escape, and Culp is like, how could you let them escape? And the dude just answers, they were fast. It's like, yeah, that's an answer. That's a good answer. I like that answer. They were fast. It's like, they were fast and they were smart. Okay. And so Culp was like, which way did they go? They can't be far. They didn't have a whole lot of provisions. Like, yeah, okay, well, let's just follow them. All right, let's just follow them. And they do. They follow them. And they get back. Cornelius gets back, and Aldo has him at like knife point. He has the king at knife point. He's like, what are you doing? Where you said the forbidden zone is? He said that we're not allowed to go there. And he's like, yeah, well, I'm the king, and I made the rule, and I could break it. So, and he's just like, he's like, he says, Aldo, make future. And Cornelius, Caesar just looks at him like a boss. He's like, Aldo, make future. Caesar said, Aldo's about to be the past. It's like, yeah, get him, Caesar, get him. I wish I had a video of that. God, I have like several episodes of me putting up videos and pictures and fun stuff, and this one's gonna have nothing, and that makes me sad, but it's okay. So they're about to go. The humans are about to go march on the apes, Ape City, as they call it. And they're like, well, if I don't come back, you know what to do. And they open up this thing, and it's the Alpha Omega bomb from Battle. So it's like they have the Alpha Omega bomb. They have the planet killer, and they're like, just set it off. I don't come back. It's like, all right, so there it is. You have it, and it's there. And weirdly, one of the henchmen's name is Mendez, and Mendez was the leader of the telepaths in Beneath. So yeah, so they have the bomb from Beneath. I said Battle before, but they have the bomb from Beneath, and now we know what's going on. We know what's happening. Oh, snap. It's all coming full circle. It's all coming full circle. Anyway, so, but they got the missile, and we learned that Mr. Aldo is going to have a little coup d'etat. He is going to try to take over. He is a little mutiny action, if you will. But Cornelius, Mr. Caesar's son, is climbing on the trees up above, and he's hearing it. He's like, what's that? And they see him, and he chops down a limb and makes Cornelius fall. And he falls, and he gets hurt. And it's very Game of Thrones style. The things I do for love. Push out the door. Or push out the window. All right. It was a lot like that. He's like, no. And he hurt. He hurt. And he died. Like, he survives for about 20 minutes, and then he dies in front of his mother and father. There, he's like, they hurt me, Dad. Who hurt you? The humans? No, they hurt me. Am I gonna be like, basically, am I gonna be weird looking? He's like, yeah, no, you're gonna be as tall as a king one day. And then he dies, and you see Miss Lisa and Caesar just broken and crying. It's like, no, but Caesar doesn't know the gorillas did it. He doesn't know yet. Stuff has, and then we has war. The humans march on the apes, and it's just and it's like there's a lot of shoosting, there's a lot of boom booms. It's crazy, man. But there is one part that made me effing giggle. They show one of the tree houses explode. I'm like, that's not funny. That's all right. But a few minutes later, they show another one from the side explode. But then I was looking at it, and it's the same one. And you keep watching this battle. This battle goes on for about 10 to 15 minutes. And this same house explodes 5 times. It's like, you can tell it's the same house from different angles. And they're using it as different, because it would be like they'll show the huge grenade gun, but it's the same freaking house. And it made me laugh so much because you can see the rug hanging on the front, and it's like, that's the same rug. Do they think we're stupid? And it is like, and that's when I actually, that's actually the point where I looked up the budget of the film, because I was like, oh, okay, they couldn't afford to do more than one explosion. All right, cool. But it's the same damn explosion. And they get in there. The apes are kind of fighting back, but the humans break through the wall, and they're in there, and all the apes are dead on the ground. And it's like, oh man, but Caesar's still alive, and Caesar's like trying to like back up, and like, dude, Colt's got a gun on him. He's like, oh, I've been waiting for this moment, kind of thing. And then Caesar's just like, now, and all the apes get up and just attack. And they got nets and everything, and it's crazy. And at this time, Aldo has bolted. He's like, the war starts, and he's like, I'm out of here, and he bolts into the desert, and because he's a coward, he's a bad guy, so he has to be a coward. And we're in here, like, the war happens, the apes win, but he's all like, do not kill them, take them prisoner, do not kill them, take them prisoner. The baddie escapes. Colt gets out of there with a few of his guys, and in the desert, like, Aldo appears out of nowhere and just kills everybody. He like hops in and just shoots into the bus and everything. Colt dies. He kills everybody, and they come back to the camp like victors. They're like, yeah, we did it. We won the war. Until like he's like, now I'm going to start making the rules. Your rule is over, Caesar. And until the orangutan's like, yeah, because you kill children. And he's like, what? He's like, and he's like, yeah. ape has killed ape. So you at the beginning of the movie, ape shall not kill ape. He killed an ape. He's like, ape killed ape. Ape. And they all start chanting, ape kill ape, ape kill ape. And he like climbs up the tree, and then the like Caesar climbs up the tree with him, and they're like, let's go climb trees, you just killed my son. And while they're climbing these trees, McDonald, they're like, the other humans are like, what is going on? And McDonald says, I think they just joined the human race. I mean, yeah. But they climb these trees, and it's just way too long, man. I mean, they climb these trees for like 10 minutes, and they're like chasing each other up the trees, and it's like, but it's not like heart racing because they're two old men climbing a tree, so it's really slow and like sloth-like. Okay. And they're climbing, and Caesar, he pulls a knife on Caesar, and then he swings it, and Caesar grabs his wrist, and the guy falls, and he's dead. So Aldo dies, and you're like, well, technically ape has killed ape again. And he's like, does one death replace another? And they're like, well, time will tell. And yeah, so and then that's the end of that part. It's like, has war, we'll rebuild the 600 years later, we go back to the lawgiver, and he's telling the story. He finishes the story, and it turns around, and it's a bunch of children, and it's apes and human children playing together. And there's a point where one of the apes pulls one of the little girl's pigtails, and they start kind of play fighting. And I guess it's supposed to show that humans and apes live in harmony now. So the timeline has changed to where, so basically, because Zira and Cornelius went back in time and caused Caesar to happen, the bad stuff didn't happen, and now we all live in harmony. So they changed the timeline. So pretty much, the first Planet of the Apes and Beneath the Planet of the Apes never happened. The only thing that matters are Escape from the Planet of the Apes, Conquest, and Battle. It's like, cool. I mean, that's one way of looking at it. The other way of looking at it is they go on, and it's 600 years, so you still have another 300, 400 years to cause the humans to become mute and all that, and it can all just work in a full circle because the Alpha and Omega bomb is still there. So you can look at it either way. Either the series runs in a circle, or they change the timeline. But that is it. That is the end of Battle for the Planet of the Apes. Not the greatest movie in the world. I gave it a 6 out of 10. This was definitely the worst of the 5. Just under Beneath. It was just not great. But next episode, this is where it's going to start getting a little weird. We'll see how this works. I'm going to test it out here because I have another series that I'm going to be doing next that also has a TV series to it. And if I like this format, I'll do it. If I decide to just do the entire season or series in one episode, that may be a thing too. But we'll see how this works out. But for right now, the next episode is going to be 1974's Planet of the Apes television show. We're going to do episodes 1 through 4. The next episode will be episodes 5 through 9. The next episode will be 10 through 14. So we'll get in there. We have 4 episodes to cover. They're about 45 minutes long each. I've never seen either of these television shows. They came out in the 70s, so I didn't get a chance to watch them. They don't come on MeTV or anything like that. They're not on any streaming service. I actually had to find the DVDs. So we'll see how it goes, man. But thank you for watching again, for putting up with this. Sorry there's no graphics in this one. But sorry. But yeah, hopefully you'll join me for the television show.